Okay, good evening, everyone. So, welcome back to our session. So, in today's session, we are going to speak about Docker. So, Nutil is going to start now. So, before going to Docker, we need to understand an architecture type. So, in your demos, I said about one-tier architecture, two-tier architecture, three-tier, right? But in today's session, we will speak about n-tier architecture, which can be made easy with the help of Docker. So, the name of the tool is going to be Docker. And here, the type of application I'm going to speak about is monolithic and microservice. Okay. First of all, let's speak about what is monolithic. Monolithic means if it is an application, are you seeing Paytm application here? How many services we have? Lot of services, right? If I have 10 services in one application, if I deploy this application on single server and this single application is having single database, single application, single server, single database, that is what I can call as monolithic. What we can call as second one is going to be microservices. Microservice means instead of deploying a application on single server, if I have 10 services, if I deploy each service on single server like this, each service on single server, and each server has separate database, that is what I can call as microservice. If I deploy an entire application on single server with single database, it is monolithic. Or if I deploy each service of an application in single server and it is going to have single database, that is what we can call as microservice. Is the definition clear for first of all of you? So let me open the notes for you. Yeah, please. Okay, it's fine. Is it fine? So let's speak about Docker here. This is the concept we are going to learn now. So tell me, like, what is a monolithic and what is microservices? Monolithic means here multiple services are deployed on single server with single database. Again, microservice means multiple services are deployed on multiple servers with multiple. That is what we can call as microservice. So if you go and see which one is better to implement, monolithic or microservice? Monolithic. Why? Because every service will be on single server and single database. But if I use microservice, if I have 10 services, 10 servers I want to create, 10 database. That means into 10 times I'm spending. As well as coming to the cost. If I pay 10 rupees for monolithic, I need to pay 100 rupees for microservice. Correct or not, sir? Why? Because into 10. So which one is better, you say? Are you sure about it? Monolithic or microservice? Okay, how many of you say monolithic? How many of you say microservice? Okay, if you say microservice, we are going to spend the money into 10 times, right? Of course, in monolithic also you will get the proper response. Huh? Correct point. See, what exactly will happen, when we are having monolithic and microservice, which one is better to choose? So remember, the which one is better to choose, we cannot say it simply. Wait. So if I take this sheet, you will get the clarity. If it is my monolithic server, here all services I will be on single server, right? For example, let's take 6 services here. How many? Or 5. Let's take 5. One is movies, train, DTH, recharge, everything. Everything will be on single server and you have only single database, right? For example, today we have Solar movie release, right? When you have Solar movies release, movie service will get huge load, right? Movie service will get huge load. Due to the huge load of only movie service, entire application might go crash down. That means train service as well as recharge service, DTH service, other services are affecting or not, sir? Issue is with the only movie service. Due to movie service, the server got shut down entirely. So entire application will not able to give service for the user. But if you implement this on microservice, movie separate server, train separate server, DTH recharge, DTH separate, recharge separate, everything. Now automatically load will be getting only to movie server only. Correct or not, guys? Load will be getting only for movie service. Remaining servers are safe or not? If it is crashed, only movies will be gone. Remaining servers are running or not? This is the main reason of choosing microservice. But whenever you go for microservice, what is the main parameter here we are looking at? We need to manage multiple servers. If you manage one server, your work will be very easy, sir. But if you manage 10 servers, is your work going to be easy? No. Per one server, you will be charging 110 rupees per one server. But for 10 servers, cost is also going to be very, very important or not, sir? To choose microservice, these are the two most affecting patterns. I mean, like affecting factors actually. Microservice is very good, but what are the factors that are affecting means? First of all, cost factor. Second one is going to be maintenance factor. For that purpose, instead of servers in microservice, we are going to use containers. What we will use? Sir, container is nothing but our server. Currently, we are EC2, right? Same like EC2, you will be using container. Simply what we call copy. If you have EC2 server, what are the components in EC2? You can get to same for container also. That means server and container will be same. But container will not get any kind of operating system by default. For server, we get operating system. From where we get the operating system for server? From AMI. But for the containers, OS will be on images. Container is just an empty box without having any operating system. If I want to get operating system, I need to use image for it. What I need to use? For EC2, we will be using AMI. But for containers, we will be using image. So now tell me, sir, which architecture is better, monolithic or microservice? Both will be better. But based upon the users and application complexity, we will select the architecture. If you ask me, in some projects, I worked on monolithic. In some projects, I worked on microservice. Correct or not, guys? See then how it is going to be. So it depends upon the users and the complexity of application. You need to select the architecture. Okay. But if you want to select the microservice architecture, what are the two factors that is affecting? Cost is the first factor. Second one, for that purpose, we are replacing EC2 with what is container? Same as server or VM. It will not have any operating system. OS will be coming from. For servers, you have AMI to get the operating system. But for container, you have image to get the where this image will be coming from. This will be coming from Docker Hub. We will discuss later. Okay, forgot about as of now. Now from monolithic to containers, is the concept clear for all of you? Everyone. Online, whatever do. Can you please confirm from monolithic to containers? Is the concept clear for all of you or not? Okay, clear from Wazid, Vinay, Durga, and Harshita. Yeah, fine, fine, guys. Thanks for your response. Four of you. Okay, sir. You are telling that instead of containers, we are using, sorry, instead of EC2, we are using containers. If we use container, it is going to be less cost and maintenance is going to be very, very low. But if I want to create this container, I need to have a tool that is called as Docker. What we can call as? So Docker, it's a free and open source tool which is used to create the containers. Okay, and it is platform independent also. With the help of Docker, we can create the containers, we can run the containers, and we can deploy the application. That means instead of using server, you are using containers. Already we deployed Netflix application, right? That Netflix application, now we are going to deploy into the containers. But there we use servers. But here we are using containers. So this tool was introduced by two persons in the year 2013, Solomon Hykes and Sebastian Paul. These two are going to be our developers who developed the Docker for us. For Docker, we use Go programming language to develop this tool. And in Docker, we will write some files. That file will be on which language? What is YAML? Yet another markup language. So we used to write the configuration files which works on key value pair. What is the other thing of key value? Key value pair can also be called as dictionary. Correct. So before Docker, user faced a lot of problems. But after Docker came into the picture, user never faced any kind of problem. I'll explain this practically. But before that, Docker is a free and open source tool. It's platform independent. It can create, run, and deploy the applications. It came on the year 2013 by two developers called Solomon Hikes and Sebastian Paul. So which programming language we use here? Go language, and here we write YAML scripts. And before Docker, there will be a lot of issues, but after Docker, there will be no issues. You are telling that before Docker, you have a lot of issues. What are the issues you faced? Let's talk in reality. In general, I'm talking our real life example. To explain this concept, I would like to know how many of you played PUBG here? PUBG. What is this, man? Two hands. Okay. So you tell me how many of you played PUBG? Never? Only one, two, three. Okay. All in. How many of you played PUBG? For the PUBG players, this concept is going to be very, very interesting. Why? Because you face the issue, right? So you can able to understand it very, very easily. So Vijay Narasimha is the only one who played PUBG. Yeah? One man army. Okay, and Naveen Kumar also. Okay, so guys, listen this one, and Shobit Gatla and Rahman. Fine, guys, just understand. PUBG came into the Indian market in almost all 2017 ending, 2018 starting. Almost all at that time it enters into the market. Whenever initially I download this PUBG application, what happened to me? Application I download from Play Store. When I try to install this application will be not working. Fine. This will be downloaded, but it is not going to work very, very fine. What is the issue? To play the PUBG application, you need to download maps. What to download? Without maps, can we play PUBG application, sir? No. Maps, where will be going to present? It will be going to present on cloud, internet. From internet, you are going to download the application you have on local, but maps is on internet, right? Like if you download maps, then only you can be able to play application. But here maps is not on my mobile. Obviously, application failed. After that, you came to know I need to have maps to play this application. So finally, you download the maps, and now application is working. That means here you have issue or not, sir? What is the issue? You don't know. I need maps. Unfortunately, you download the application. Then later you came to know I need maps. Then again, for maps, you go to internet. Again, you download separately. Application you download separately. Maps you download separately. Which is going to be the complex work. So in that case, in version 2 of PUBG, what they done, inside the application only, they started giving you the maps. You remember? In version 2. In version 1, maps and application are separate. But in version 2, inside the application only, PUBG developers gave the maps itself. Correct or not, sir? Now this time, whenever you download the application will start easily or not. This is what the meaning of containerization. What we can call as containerization means process of packing an application with its dependency. Here application is PUBG. What is the dependency here? Map. If both are on different areas, my work will be difficult to use. But if those both are on single place, I can able to use the application. Correct or not, sir? Damn sure interview question. What is containerization? Containerization means process of packing an application with its dependency. What is the best example for it? PUBG. So here application is PUBG. And what is the dependency? If those both will be on single place, that is containerization. If I want to do containerization, I need to have which tool? Docker. Is the purpose of using Docker clear for all of you? Sir, you are telling this example for the people who are playing PUBG, but we don't know PUBG. Then what is our paristiti? Sthiti and Paristhiti. Status. Okay, at least if you don't play PUBG, you celebrated your friend's birthday, right? At least you celebrate your birthday, right? Ah. So whenever you celebrate your birthday or your friend birthday, what you will order? You will order a cake. That bakery guy give a cake for you, but unfortunately, he forgot you to give the knife. Without knife, what can we do, sir? That means dependency is missing or not. Cake you want, but if you want to cut that cake into pieces, you need to have that knife. Here, dependency is missing. But if the bakery guy packed the cake as well as knife in the same box, is your issue resolved or not, sir? That is what we can call here. See. So here my application is cake and knife is the dependency. If I have only cake without knife, I cannot use it. I cannot make my work. If I have knife as well as I have cake, I can able to do my work very easily. That means if both of these things, that means application and its dependency are together, that is containerization. To do containerization, which tool we need to have? Docker. You got the clarity now, all of you? What is Docker and why we need to use Docker? All of you. Online, what about you? Have you got the clarity of what is Docker now? Can you please confirm me once? Yes, great. Fine. So here, with the help of Docker, we can perform OS level of virtualization. OS level of virtualization means complete OS you can take backup, sir. Complete OS you can take the backup. I'll show you how to do the OS level backup. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here, if I speak about architecture and components of Docker, first of all, you need to understand this one. Are you seeing architecture of Docker here? Where it is? Here it is. Are you seeing architecture of Docker here? How many components you are seeing here? 3. Client, Docker host, registry. Let's understand about this architecture. Now, if I want to teach this architecture, first of all, you need to do one thing. In your childhood, have you went to picnic? If you remember the days, your concept is going to be very, very easy, sir. I'll explain in real life, like how we can utilize this one. See, whenever in your childhood, what happened, you are in the middle of the class. Unfortunately, PT sir came to your class. What is going to tell you at this time only, right? In New Year, Sankranti time only, they used to take us to picnics. What he will tell means, PT sir, children, you are working very hard day and night. You are studying very well. Education is not only thing we need to enjoy. We need to enjoy ourselves also. So tomorrow we all are going for picnic. He will tell in this way. After telling in this way, that guy will tell everybody need to bring their own money. Correct or not, sir? So after that, what we will do? So definitely picnic means we all need to go. Why? Because we have that much of passion and enthusiasm at that time. Okay, we want to go outside. We want to explore the things. So here PT sir is going to tell that we are going to for picnic. You need to bring your money. Why? Because without money, we cannot go for picnic. Correct or not, sir? So first of all, client. Here, forget about client and everything. Here, first of all, we. I'm taking me. First of all, what I'll do? PT sir asked us money to take us to the picnic. I'll check with myself. I'll check my pockets. I'll check my bag. I'll check my basket also. But unfortunately, in our childhood, do we have money, sir? No. Though if you don't find money, you cannot go to PT, sir. So then what you will do? You will go to your home and you are going to ask your mom first. Why can't we ask dad? Because if you ask him, he has very big belt, we know. Very big Gucci belt. Okay. So we will ask our mom. Then what our mom will do? Like we are going to ask like this, mommy, our PT sir said that like he is going to take all of us to picnic, but we want some money. I don't have money. Can you please give? Then what our mommy will do? She will check with herself. Okay. She will check in vessel. She will check in like some with purses and everywhere. If our mommy is having money, she will give to us. But if she is having money, she will give us definitely. But if definitely she need to go to ask her daddy. Obviously, the banker of our home, he will definitely have in his pocket, right? So mummy is going to ask to daddy. So our kid wants to go to picnic, so he needs some money. Our kid doesn't have money, even I don't have money. So I want some money from you. So obviously, what daddy will do? Daddy will give money to the me. And I'm gonna take this money and give it to the. It is the same pattern which we are seeing from childhood, right? You pattern, your Docker architecture is completed. What is completed? Sir, what you are telling, sir, what is the picnic relation and for Docker relation means? I'll correlate now. See, here PT sir wants what? Money. What PT sir want? Here I want to create the container. I want to create what? If I want to create a container, I need to have image. First of all, Docker client will check. Do I have any image to create container? PT sir ask money to me, right? Here also, user will ask to Docker client. Docker client, do you have image? Like PT sir ask, do you have money? Okay, Docker client will check. Do it have any image? If Docker client doesn't have any image, like we go to mom, right? Here also Docker client will go to Docker daemon. Forget about Docker host, Docker daemon, and ask Docker daemon. Docker daemon. Here client want to, I mean sorry, here user want to create an image. I don't have any image. If you have any image, you give to me. Like we ask our money to mom. Then what daemon will do? Daemon will check. Do you have image or not? Like our mom check with herself. If daemon is having the image, daemon will give to client. But if daemon is not having image, our mom approach to dad, right? Here also daemon will approach to the registry. Like always dad will have the money. In registry also we will have having all the images. In Docker registry we will be having all the images. So now from the Docker registry, the image will come to Docker host. Like money come from daddy to mommy. And from Docker daemon to again the image will come to Docker client, like from mommy to me. And again from Docker client to image will be coming to the user, like from me to PT sir. The synchronization clear now? That is a Docker architecture. You got the clarity now? Simple. If you understand the picnic concept, your Docker architecture is going to be very, very easy. One more time, I'll explain for you for your even better clarity. See, first of all, here user will ask to create container, but to create container, what you need to have? Image we need to have. First of all, client will check with itself. If client is having image, it can create the container. If client doesn't have any image, it will ask the Docker daemon. So daemon will check whether it is having image or not. If daemon is having image, it will give to client, client will create container. But if daemon doesn't have any image, it is going to approach to in registry. Do you have all images or not, sir? From registry to image will come to Docker daemon, from Docker daemon to client, and client will create the container to the user. Is the clarity clear now? So this is the architecture of Docker, sir. Is the Docker architecture clear? Any difficult of understanding or anything? All clear? Yes, sir. No. See, guys, whenever I'm asking any question, try to respond. Okay, try to speak. Okay. Why? Because if you can't speak and if you shake your head like this, how can I understand? Even like you are wearing masks. I don't know whether you are shaking like this or this. Okay. And online, what about you? Can you please confirm is the architecture clear for all of you or not? If the architecture is clear, we can go for the practical part directly. Okay. So it was good response. Fine. So now let's understand what is Docker client, what is Docker daemon, what is Docker registry. I'll explain what are these in depth now. So go ahead and see here. I'll make it short and sweet now. Fine. Yes, Harshita. Docker registry means Docker hub only. So Docker client means it will interact with user. For example, if I want to work with Docker, I need to pass some command. Okay. Docker client is going to interact with user. Whenever if user give any command, it will take the command and execute. Clear? If I want to perform any operation in Docker, I need to give a command. Command will be taken by Docker client. Docker client take the command, executes it. Clear? Second one, Docker daemon manages the Docker components, sir. In this diagram, you can see images, containers are you seeing, right? These are the Docker components, images, containers, volume, network, everything will be Docker components. All the Docker components will be will be managing by with the help of Docker daemon. Client will take care of inputs, gives you the output. Daemon manages the Docker components. Now host means where we install Docker. For example, if I install Docker on Windows, Windows is my Docker host. If I install Docker on Linux, Linux will be my Docker host. If I install Docker on EC2, EC2 will be my host. Wherever you install Docker, that is going to be Docker host. And finally, registry. Registry means it is going to contain all the images, sir. Whatever the images you want to create container, every image will be available in the Docker hub. Whatever the image you want. So everything will be from Docker registry. Is the registry concept clear for all of you know? Clear? Fine. So again, one more time. How many components in Docker architecture? 4. Client, daemon, host, registry. Client is going to interact with user. It will take input, execute, gives you the output. Second one, daemon. Daemon manages the Docker components. And third one, host. Host means where we install Docker. And final one, registry. Registry means it is going to manage all the Docker images. So now if I want to work with Docker, I need to create a Docker host. That is our EC2 instance in this case. But before I go, is the architecture and components clear? Good. And one more thing, tomorrow we have class. Don't forget, okay? Monday you don't have class. Tomorrow we have. So yum install Docker. Already you know this one, right? Docker is a service. Whenever you download service, you need to good. Otherwise, services will not work properly. So now, if I give Docker version, it is showing only Docker client, right? In this architecture, we can see Docker client is running, but Docker client want to interact with Docker daemon. Otherwise, it will not work properly. It is telling that cannot connect with Docker daemon. That means is your Docker daemon running? No. Why? Because we need to start the Docker engine. If you start the Docker engine, then your Docker will be running. Systemctl Start. You can write Docker or Docker.service. Both will be fine. If you want to check the status, you can write. Clear now? So this is how you are going to see. Are you seeing Docker service? Docker service means Docker application container engine. Clear now? So clear the screen. Sir, as you said, whenever if I want to create any container, I need to have the image. What I need to have? Why? Because with the image, you will get the operating system. Without operating system, can we create any machine? No. Likewise, here also I want to create a container. To operate container, I need to have operating system. So how to get operating system means same. First of all, here I'll check for Docker images. Do you have images here? No. And one more thing, if I check Docker version, now my Docker client is having here. Client is not having any image. And next Docker daemon. Docker daemon is Docker engine is called as Docker daemon. Docker engine also not having any image. Now image will be getting from where, sir? Registry. How to get Docker pull command? Which command? If I want my operating system as Ubuntu, you can write here Ubuntu. No, sir, I want my operating system as Amazon Linux. Type here Amazon Linux. Are you getting Amazon Linux here image? So now if I give the command Docker images, are you seeing Amazon Linux here? That means you have the Amazon Linux image. No, sir, if I want to work with Ubuntu operating system, give the command Docker pull Ubuntu. Are you seeing Ubuntu operating system here? Give the command Docker images. Clear? You can use any operating system, sir, like this. Sir, what is the command to get the image? Docker pull command. What is the command to list the images? Docker images. Fine. So now here, if I want to create a container from that image, instead of pull, put run. Which one? Docker pull will download the image. Docker run will create the container. Okay. But if you create a container, it will be created. But if you want to interact with the container, that means you want to go inside. If you want to perform any operation, just give -IT. IT means interactive terminal. If you don't give IT, you cannot interact with your Docker. And if you want to give name, give -name container one. Is your container got created now? Docker run will create a container with each operating system. Ubuntu. Here IT means if I want to go inside the container, I use IT. IT means interactive terminal. Am I inside container now? Yes. -name. What is the name of my container? Container one. Inside this container, you can work like server. Whatever the things you worked on, your EC2, same things will be working here. For example, what is the command to list the files? Are you seeing the list? What is the command to create a file? Touch file one. Are you seeing file one here? What is the command to open the file? Cat. Seeing it or not, sir? If I want to install git package, what is the command? Yum install git -y. But if you use this one, it will be not work. Why? Because in Ubuntu, instead of yum, you need to use what? Already we discussed or not, sir, if you remember? It is also not going to work. Why? Because there is a golden rule in Ubuntu. Whenever you open the Ubuntu operating system, first of all, you need to update the operating system. What you need to do? If you don't update the Ubuntu operating system, packages will not be downloaded. Okay. Give the command apt update -y. You can use apt or apt get. Both will be fine. Am I updating this one now? Now try to install git. Installing or not, sir? It's installing or not? So like in this way, we're gonna work. Now if I want to install Maven, what is the command? Apt install Maven. Let's install LAMP stack this time. You know LAMP stack, right? Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. Okay. So in the meanwhile, I'll try to picturize this one here. Go here. So here what I'm installing now, what are the packages I'm installing? Tell me. Till now I install Git, Maven. So now I'm installing Apache now. Okay. And I'll install MySQL and I'll install Python. Which one? Okay. So give the command apt install. Basically, we can call as HTTPD, right? But here we need to call it as Apache 2. What we need to call it as? In Amazon Linux HTTPD, but here Apache 2. And I install MySQL. MySQL server we need to call as. And I'll install Python. Okay, these three I'm installing at the same time. And don't worry about your notes. Here everything is written. Okay. Docker pull is there, Docker image is there, Docker run -IT for interactive terminal. Update command is there. For Red Hat, we will use M. For Ubuntu, we will use. So here, what are the other things I'm installing now? I'm installing Git. I install Maven. And later what I install? Apache and everything. Wait. Let me get this notes for you first of all. Every command I'll export from there to here. Don't worry. Okay. So these are the things which you install, right? So if you want me to check, git-v. But before that, let me copy this one. And I'll give it here. And if you want to start Apache, service Apache to start, service Apache to status. This is also you can able to write, sir. It's up to your choice. We use systemctl, right? But this time you can also use service command. Is your Apache running now? You can use systemctl also. You can use service also. Now check the versions. Git-v. Are you seeing Git? Oh, sorry. Git-version. Are you seeing Git version? Are you seeing Maven version? Are you seeing Python 3 version? Python working or not? You will be inside the Python interpreter. Okay, just give Control D. If you give Control D, you will be come out of Python. Okay. Next, what I install MySQL. MySQL hyphen version or -v. Are you seeing MySQL here? Everything you installed or not, sir? Now tell me, all of this I install inside the container 1. Where I install? How I install on container 1? In container 1, I take Ubuntu as my operating system. What I took? In the Ubuntu operating system, I install everything. Git, Maven, Apache, MySQL, Python, I install everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to perform OS level of virtualization. What I'm going to show you? OS level of virtualization means if you take backup of this complete operating system, if I take complete backup of the operating system, then I can call it as OS level of virtualization. Now what I'll do is to take the complete backup of an operating system, I will create an image. What I'll create here? Image. From this container, I'm going to create a image. In this image, you will be getting the complete backup of your operating system. Point clear? In container 1, you have Ubuntu. In Ubuntu, install all of these packages or not, sir? Now what you are doing, you're doing the backup of your operating system Ubuntu. If you take backup of your operating system of Ubuntu, now you will get the image. Inside the image, you will get same packages or not, sir? Now how to do it means with the help of a command called docker commit command. Which command? But before that, first of all, let's exit from the container. If you want to exit from the container, just give Control PQ. What you need to give? Control PQ. Now see, Docker ps is the command to see list of containers. Are you seeing list of containers? And you can use -a also. ps means to show only running containers. If you give -a, it is going to show all the containers. For example, if container is stopped, you cannot see it on ps. You want me to show? Give the command docker stop container 1. Now container 1 is going to stop, sir. Is it taking some time? Just understand, taking some time. Now, if you use docker ps, it won't be visible. Why? Because container is on stopped state. If you want to see running containers and stopped containers, you can see docker ps hyphen. Is the point clear for all of you now? Clear. So now, sir, as you said, again, if I want to start the container, docker start container 1. Simple. If you want to stop, docker stop. If you want to start, docker start, and give the container name. So here now my question is, sir, you have the container. Inside this container, which operating system you are having? Inside Ubuntu, what you install now? Git, Maven, Apache, MySQL, and so on. If I want to take the backup, I want to create an image. Till now, how many images do I have in my Docker host? 2. How many? But if you give the command docker commit, I am creating a image from my container 1. Where I am creating the image from? What is the image name here? I am giving the new image name as image 1. Now, automatically, with the help of docker commit command, whatever the content in container 1 will be traveling to image 1. That means simply image 1 is the backup of container 1 or not, sir? Are you seeing image 1 now? Able to see it or not? Like that. So now here every package Git, Maven, like MySQL, Apache, everything is on this image. From this image, if I create container, automatically these packages will come to that container or not, sir? See, from this image, if I try to new container, if I try to create a new container, automatically what will happen? I'll get the new container, right? But in that new container, do I need to install packages again? Yes or no? Why no, sir? Because already these packages are installed on this image. So if you create a new container, automatically you don't need to install these packages one more time. Why? Because packages are already coming from the image. This time I am gonna create the container 2. But for container 2, this time I'm using image 1. Which one I'm using? Why? Because all the packages will be on image 1 only. So it is my image 1. Okay. So go here. Docker run image 1, right? But if I want to interact, I need to give -it. And if I want to give name of my container, -- name container 2. Now check the versions. Are you seeing Git here? Are you seeing Maven here? Are you seeing Apache? Are you seeing MySQL? Oh, wait. MySQL -- version. Seeing MySQL, sir? And even you can see the files. This file where I create on my container 1 or not. Automatically every package. See, I'll explain one more time. First of all, you will take the Ubuntu as base image and you will create container. In that container, you install packages. Correct or not, sir? Now, entire packages will be on container 1 with Ubuntu operating system. What I take the backup of the container 1. Whenever I take the backup of container 1, operating system packages, everything is going to come to image 1 or not, sir? From the image 1, what you are creating now? New container. Automatically in this new container, these packages need not to install. Why? Because this packages is already on that image 1. You got the clarity now? this is how the Docker is going to work. And this is the process of OS level of virtualization. What we can call as taking the complete backup of operating system, and you can reuse. For this image, can I use it for one more container? Like this, how many containers I want? I can create. In previous, what you done? You create multiple servers. For every server, you install package individually, right? But here package you are installing on one image. You are reusing that same image for multiple containers. That means it's a good thing or not, sir? So this is the concept of OS level of virtualization. Is the concept clear now? Online, what about you? Can you please confirm, is the concept of OS level of virtualization clear for all of you or not? Fine. Yes, Swapnil, for that purpose, we can use Docker Hub. Don't worry it as of now, okay? I'll tell you in our upcoming days. Fine, sir. So now what is my requirement is I'll come out of it. Okay, we already discussed few commands here. See, Docker PS, Docker PQ means to exit from the container. Docker PS-A means, and Docker attach means to go inside the container. So I'll show you. Docker stop container means to stop the container. Docker start means start it. Currently, if you go and see Docker PS, container is on which state now? Both are running state. For example, if I want to stop, command is Docker stop, or if I want to start, command is Docker. But you can pause the container. Command is Docker pause container 1. Now container 1 is in which state? Paused. Again, if you want to unpause, Docker unpause container 1. Now again this came to unpause. Sir, for example, I want to go inside the container. Docker attach. Which one? Now you are inside the container. Again, if you want to come back, control PQ. So remember, only middle things will be changing. See, Docker and container name will be common. If you want to go inside, attach. If you want to stop, stop. If you want to start, if you want to pause, pause. If you want to unpause, but Docker and container name is going to be constant. They are not fixed. They are fixed, right? This is how it is going to work for you. Is the concept clear? No? Inspect. Inspect means, for example, if you want to get complete information of a container, so you can use the command called Docker inspect. I want to get the complete information of container 1. So use the. Are you getting complete information of my container? Go to the top. It is the container ID. It is the date and time what I create my container. Container is currently on running status. It started at so and so this time, and it started finishing it this time. For the container, I use this image. Okay, are you getting complete information or not? Even you can get the IP address of container also. Are you getting the container IP? Getting or not? So like this, if you want to get complete information of container, which command we gonna use? Inspect. Which one? If I want to stop the container, what is the command? Docker stop. There is one difference you need to understand. Docker stop container 1. It will take some time to stop the container. Why? Because first of all, it will stop the process inside the container, then it will stop the container. Okay? Stop now. Again, I'll start you. Docker start. There is one more command called Docker kill command. Which command? Instead of stop, what I'm gonna give now? It won't wait for the process to stop. Immediately came or not, sir? So in interview, they will gonna ask a question, Docker stop versus Docker kill. Docker stop means it will wait to finish all the process running inside the container. But Docker kill won't wait for the process to complete. It will do the shutdown immediately. Is the difference practically and theoretically clear? Everyone? Fine. Yes, Sunil, I'm gonna show you. Don't worry, it's not the concept of now. In a day 3 of Docker, sorry, day 2 or day 3, I'll show you how to access, okay? There is a concept called Docker networking and port mapping. In that concept, I'm gonna teach you how to access the application from outside of the container. Fine. So next here, I need to tell you one thing. Sir, by default, containers will be having no limits. You can ask me, currently it is my server, right? EC2 instance. In my EC2 only, wait. In my EC2 only, you are having containers, Docker PS. These containers need to run means this need to have CPU and memory or not, sir? By default, for containers, there will be no limitation of CPU and memory. Just understand the concept here. It is my EC2 instance, that is Docker host. Inside this Docker host, I'm gonna create 2 containers or 1 containers, any number of file. For example, if for my EC2 instance, I have 1 CPU and 1 GB of RAM. By default, containers are nothing but your servers we said, right? That means containers also need to use RAM and CPU. These containers will be using my host RAM and host CPU by default. Okay, containers will use host RAM and host CPU. There will be no limit for containers. So in real time, what we are going to do means we are going to limit the containers. That means this container want to use only half CPU and half GB of RAM. And this container 2 want to use only half CPU and half GB of RAM. Why? Because if you don't put limit, if single container occupied the entire RAM and entire CPU, what about container 2? You got my question? Whenever you create containers, containers will use our host resources. That means RAM and CPU is going to consumed by from our EC2 instance. This EC2 is having RAM and CPU, right? This container 1 and container 2 will use these resources. So in real time, we need to limit the resources. By default, resources will not be limited. Container can use how much of CPU and how much of RAM that wanted. But if you leave like that, if one container is using complete CPU and complete RAM, what about remaining containers? Got clarity now? So in that case, we are going to limit the containers. How to limit the container means while creating the containers, we can add a CPU and memory restriction. How to add means I'll tell you. But before that, I'll show you a command called docker stats. If you see the command docker stats here, currently this container 1 and container 2 are not using any CPU. But when it comes to memory, container 2 is using 7.3 MB out of 952 MB. But container 1 is using 960 KB. And you can see the memory percentage. Container 1 is using 0.7% and container 2 is using 0.1%, right? So this is the command of docker stats. If you want to stop, just give Control C. Docker stats will continuously show me CPU and memory utilization. Is it continuously printing or not, sir? So it is the continuously printing. From here, it started printing. For each and every second, you will get the output. By using which command? Docker stats. So here, how to limit the CPU and memory utilization of a container means let's create a container. Docker run container 3. Okay. If you want to interact, what I need to give? What is the name here? Container 3. What is the image here? Ubuntu. Already you know this command, right? So now how to add the limits means here give hyphen CPUs. For this container, I want to give 0.5 CPU. Totally, I have only one CPU, right? So I'm giving half CPU for it. And hyphen memory. How much of memory I have? 1 GB of RAM. So here I'm giving 512 MB. How much? Clear? You are putting just hyphen CPUs. How you are having only one CPU. In that one CPU you are giving half CPU. And how you are having 1 GB of RAM. How much of RAM you are giving? 512. Hit enter. Container got created. Now just come out of it. If you come out of it, again give the command docker stats command. Which command? For container 1 and container 2, are you seeing 952 MB? That means these are not having any limits. But for container 3, are you seeing 521 MB? Are you seeing it or not? That means that is the limit. That means this container 3 can maximum use 521 MB. How much? So like that, you can put whatever the restriction you want. So this is the way how you are going to limit the CPU and memory utilization. So not like this. If you want to see some other information, give the command docker inspect container 3. Okay, if you go here for container 3, go to the top. Here for this container 3, how much of memory I have? This is a KB, almost all 500 MB. And how much of nano CPUs? 5 into 10 power 9. Nano means 10 power 9, right? That means almost all you are having half CPUs. This is for container 3. But if we go for docker inspect container 2, for container 2, have you set any limits? No. So now see here in container 2, CPU and memory is 0 and 0. Why? Because we don't have any limit for it. So this is the way how you are going to put the CPU and memory limits for a container. Tell me one thing, if I don't put limits of a container, what will happen? It will use complete CPU and complete memory. Remaining containers are going to face the issue. For that purpose, what we need to put here? Restriction. Hyphen CPUs. I have one CPU. I give 0.5. You can give 0.1, you can give 0.2 also. I have 1 GB of RAM. I give 521 MB. How much? You can give 100 MB, you can give 20 MB, you can give 30 MB also. It depends upon your choice. Is the sharing of CPU and memory clear for all of you? Any doubts on it? No. Online, what about you? Can you please confirm is sharing of memory and CPU clear for all of you? If Docker want more resource, you can exchange the resource or you can add more resource to your host, Sunil. We can do on both. Show how to come out of stats. Just give Control C. You'll be coming out of it. During runtime only, I'm telling. Okay, you can give maximum. You can give maximum of 1 GB. 1 GB is more than enough for container actually. Okay. In runtime, even though if it crashed, we can create the replicas, which you are going to see on Docker Swarm concept, Sunil. Okay. Wait for Docker Swarm, you'll get the clarity of it. So here I said, so I hope it is enough for today. Okay. So Docker memory management containers use our host operating resources. That means CPU and memory is going to use by our Docker host. By default, we don't have any limits for the containers. We need to set it for it. Are you seeing how to set the limits here? So like this. Okay. You can use Docker inspect or you can see the Docker stats. So fine. And one more last one, two comments I'll tell you. Only 2 comments. Currently, Docker images. How many images do you have? 3. Docker ps-a. How many containers you have? Sir, if I want to see how much of storage is using by images and how much of storage using by containers, I can use a command called Docker system command. Which command? We give the command Docker system df. So currently in my system, I have 3 images. How many images? 2 are active. That means this Ubuntu and image 1 is using. But am I using Amazon Linux for any container? No. Are you seeing here Ubuntu and image 1 is there? So that is the reason active 2. And total size of these 3 images is 1.7 GB. How much? And I have 3 containers. In 3 containers, 3 are active. That means 3 are running. And 950 MB, these containers are consuming. How much of MB? Volumes is not there. Volumes is a separate concept. If you want some additional clarity, just to give -v. If you give -v, it will show you complete information. This is the image one. For this image one, it creates 17 minutes ago. It is size of the image and it is the used by one container. And it is a Ubuntu image. It created on 10 days ago, 77.8 MB. And it is used by how many containers? Two containers. It is a container 3 now or container 1. Container 1 is having how much of size here? 950 MB. Container 2, 0 bytes. Container 3. So if you want complete information, just give Docker system df-v. So this is going to show the Docker complete resource information. Which one? So I hope that's enough for today. Because it's day one, right? So I don't want to make it prolonged so far. So now in today's session, we speak about what is monolithic and what is microservice. So first of all, tell me what is monolithic? Multiple services deployed on single server with single database. And what is microservice? Multiple services are deployed on multiple with multiple database. So based upon user and application complexity, we select the architecture. If I want to create microservice, what are the two major factors? Cost and maintenance. To overcome this one, I'm using containers. Container is same as server. So, but container will not have any kind of OS. OS will be coming from, for server, we use AMI, but for container, we use. So Docker is a free and open source tool which is platform independent. Here we can create, run, deploy our containers, and it was introduced by Solomon Hykes and Sebastian Paul. Docker written on which programming language? And here we use AML. So before Docker, a lot of problems are there, but after Docker, there will be no problems. Best example is here, PUBG. What is the meaning of containerization? Process of packing application with its, already we seen the PUBG example, right? Next, here coming to the virtualization, able to create the resource with our own hardware property. I'll tell it later. Don't worry as of now. So coming to the architecture, first of all, client. Client is going to interact with, it will take input, it will give you the output. Daemon. Daemon manages the Docker command like images, volumes, small containers, everything. Host. What is the meaning of host? Where we install Docker. So it can be Windows, Linux, Mac OS, anywhere. Finally, registry. Registry is going to manage all the, process of installation, right? Docker is service. Whenever you download, you want to start. So command. What is a command to pull the image? Docker pull. If I want to list the images, Docker images. If I want to run the container, Docker run -it. What is IT here? That means to go inside the container. If you want to check the flavor, cat etc OS release. Already know this command, right? This I haven't shown you here. If you want me to show, Docker attach container 1. For container 1, we use Ubuntu or not, sir? Are you seeing here Ubuntu? Like that. It will show the complete information of OS. And here, whenever in Ubuntu, if you want to install any package, first of all, we need to update. Without update, we can't install any package on Ubuntu. For Red Hat, what is the package manager? But for Ubuntu, so here, after updating, apt update -y, what we have done? We install Git, and after installing of Git, we install Apache, and we install, wait, after Git, I install Maven, right? I install Apache, MySQL, Python, lamps like I installed, okay? What is the command to exit from container? Docker pick. If I want to see all the list of containers, ps-a. If I don't give -a, it is going to show only running. If I want to go inside container, Docker attach. If I want to stop the container, stop. If I want to start it, Docker start. If I want to pause the container, pause. If I want to unpause, unpause. If I want to get complete information, inspect. If I want to remove container, Docker RM. Okay. So I'll show you how to remove this container. But what is the difference between stop versus kill in Docker? Stop. Yes. So this is also going to be one of the important thing. And one more thing, without stopping container, you cannot remove the container. Please remember this point, okay? I'm writing here without stopping. We can't remove it. Next, coming to the system command will give complete information of the Docker. So Docker system, Docker system df also no. And grep command, right? Again, I'll explain on volumes concept. Don't worry, it as of now, I'll explain volumes concept. Docker memory management. By default, containers use host resource, right? That means CPU and memory. So we don't have any limits for the default containers. So for that purpose, we need to set them. How you can say just add hyphen memory and add hyphen CPUs. And if you want to check, give the command Docker. If you want to check the live utilization of your resources, give the command Docker stats. So this is enough for today. So, and one more thing, if you want to perform any command, come out of container, otherwise it won't perform. So here I have given each and every command on your notes. Okay, so Ansible, right? First of all, let me upload the notes. I'll show you. So in the meanwhile, first of all, how's the class for today? Easy or difficult for you? Easy, right? So if you practice 1 or 2 times, it is going to be more easy for you. Okay. And one more thing is you are learning the concepts very fast when compared with previous batches. Why? Because for my previous batch, I set the concept till here only in day 1, till here. But you learn Docker system commands and you learn Docker memory management. Of course, still we have a lot of time. We can finish one more concept, but I won't do it. We'll go slowly only. Is the class going any speed for you or is normal? Normal only? Sure about it? Fine. Huh? No, I'm getting something from there. Okay. Instead of using escape during insert mode, is there any? Yes, you can use exit. You can use exit, Vaishnavi, to exit from Docker container. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, Ubuntu is base image only. In that image, you have the operating system. You need to call this Ubuntu, not Ubuntu. It's the wrong actual. You need to call this Ubuntu only. Fine. So in last day, you asked me about the troubleshooting of Ansible, right? Troubleshoot. But I don't have any cluster as of now. But I can share you. So where is Ansible? Yeah. Here, this command already you know. So you need to understand one thing about known host. Which one? In Ansible, if we copy a key to the worker node, for example, it's my Ansible main server. And if I copy the keys to any of the worker node, okay, this worker node information is going to store on Ansible server in a file called known host. Known host means I know that server. Whenever you copy the key to the worker nodes, that worker node information is going to store in a file called known host. Okay. So if you want to see known host, there will be something called as root.sh. Inside root, you have .sh folder. There you can see the known host. And if you remove an IP address from that file, main server will not able to communicate. For example, here how many servers I'm able to worker nodes? Sorry, here how many worker nodes do I have? For these 2 worker nodes, I already copy the key. Okay, that information is going to store on known host file. Which file? Now in that file, if I remove the worker node information, now my Ansible will not communicate with them. For that purpose, we need to copy the keys one more time. Okay. In real time, what happened, whenever if you don't want to work with Ansible server. For example, if I have two nodes, with one node, I don't want to work anymore. In that case, I go to known host and remove the IP address of that worker node. Automatically, it is going to stop working with that worker node. Okay. You can do on both ways. If you do comment or if you remove here, both will be the same file. Anyways, you can do. Or simply in inventory file, you can remove that IP address also instead of commenting. Just use DD. It's gonna remove it permanently. Yeah, both ways. See, if you do from inventory file, it will work, or if you do from known host also, it is going to work for you. Both will be the same. Sir, Docker we are using in project. Yes, definitely. Venkatesh, I'm gonna show you a project in Docker. Don't worry about it. Okay. Sir, while creating an EC2 instance, we click existing or new security. See, existing security group means if you already create a security group, if you want to use that, you can click on existing. No, sir, if I want to create new security group, click on the new. So you have the both options there to work with. So still any queries or anything from your end? If you are having any queries, we have still a lot of time. You can ask your queries and doubts. We can discuss. Hmm? You can take a picture better instead of writing. I'll send. Hmm. In interview, they're gonna ask, tell me some list of modules you used. Okay. So I'll write some list of modules. These modules will be useful for you. So first of all, to install packages, which module you use? Yeah, to create user, which module you use? User. And to work with service user module will be there, copy module will be there, and you have shell module, command module, and you have get URL module, and you have debug, and you have some other modules like this one. Wait, what is this module I said? Lookup module you have. And one more thing I'll tell about inline module. Inline. It's not a part of your syllabus, but I'll tell. Inline module means to modify a particular line in worker nodes. Particular line of a file. Okay. Sub module, service module, user module, copy, command, shell, raw module will be there. And conditions we have when module. Conditions is there. So you can use all these models. Debug will be there, lookup will be there, inline module will be there. So all these gonna be models. Again, take a picture of it instead of writing. Better. Template. Copy will come under same. You can use copy or you can tell just template. Anything is fine. And there will be some n number of models, but we don't use all of them. We will use only frequently used models. These are fine. That's it. Okay. So still any doubts or any queries you are having? Okay, then if you don't have any doubts or queries, we can wrap session for today. So let's meet on tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we have the class. So Monday is going to be the holiday for you. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining today's session. Let's meet on tomorrow's class. Thank you online.